It seems like oftentimes, at least here in the West, that if somebody's feeling lost with their life, they're not sure what to do, they feel out of sorts, they feel just generally like, what do I do? What should I be doing? What should I be pursuing? Where should I be spending my time? This often culminates in pursuing some sort of rigid program or some sort of self help or self improvement mechanism by which to overcome this sense of being stuck or being confused. And I don't know that that's the best approach in general. I think what we often lose is the sense of play and exploration and flow. And so let's unpack these ideas a little bit. And in your mind, maybe counterbalance them or weigh them against the ideas of a self improvement program or a goal setting program or a course that you could take that will unlock the answer that you think exists. You think there exists an answer that you cannot seem to find, right? If we think about it from a playful perspective, and you feel lost or you feel stuck or you feel confused, what if instead of infusing structure and programming, you infused play and thought, well, what could I do today that feels playful? And you could take that a step further and think, well, what could I do day to day that feels like I'm not entering the day with a bunch of expectations of myself or of others or of the weather or of the news. Rather, I'm just going to accept completely everything that occurs and let that roll me down a path. I'm going to do that very Eastern philosophical thing of flowing like the water flows and just taking the path of least resistance. And in that way, not get lost in the idea that it should be different and it should have gone this way and that person should have said that sentence this way. But to just say, it is the right thing to have happened purely because it happened. And from that foundation, I'm going to go with it. It's not reacting to it, and it's not agreeing with it, and it's not fighting it. It's none of those things. It is flowing with it. And there's not much of a better term, I don't think, than that, even though it's become a little bit buzzwordy. So play, let go of those expectations, diminish the rigidity, and flow, accept and flow with what happens. And if you could think of that in the sense of rolling that all up into an explorer, right? That you are in pursuit of nothing other than the exploration that is your life unfolding. That in and of itself is an exploratory activity, one in which, as long as you are here, you have no option but to participate in. And by participate, that could mean that you lay in bed all day. That could be the case. That is still participating because you are still here. It could also mean riding your bike to get ice cream. Something that you think may seem trivial or childish, batting a balloon around, playing an instrument, singing and dancing to music, writing something, a poem. And it doesn't have to be artsy things either. It could be gardening. Anything that occurs to you in a moment that sounds enjoyable. Pursuing the enjoyment and the flow of the free stream of consciousness that you experience, that certainly, if you will unrigidify, rigidify, I'm making up words here, but if you were to deconstruct the rigidity of the programming and the expectations and the ways in which I think people often pursue getting out of a stuck or lost state, there may be something there for you that may open up an entire world of being here now, just being where you are and going with what is happening now. And I know, again, that be here now has become very popularized and I don't know if sensationalized is too cinematic of a term, but certainly Ram Dass in his book Be Here Now went a long way to popularizing that term and that idea. But similarly to flow and how that has become popularized, just because it's become buzzy doesn't mean that there is necessarily a better way to consider it. And I do think opening up to the playfulness and the joy of the moment and heightening those things and lowering these very typical Western things of I should be pursuing something. I should be on a march to get X amount of dollars. In any of these things, I should be bettering myself. You may not know yourself, for one, and to layer up on that, you may not know how to better yourself. And so letting go of some of those ideas may provide an opportunity at a particular point in time for you to explore in a different way and do something that probably you don't encounter frequently throughout your day. I think frequently throughout the day, we're inundated with do something to improve yourself. Don't let a minute go by where you're not just hopping on your phone and doing something to make you smarter, make you faster, make you better in some other way, make you more creative. These aren't all of the things that are life. And so if you feel lost and stuck and you've been inundated by those things, maybe consider self-inundating, intentionally inundating yourself with other things and minimizing those things that we're typically constantly thrown in our ears and in our face as ways to pursue the proper life or the better life. Maybe retreat from that a little bit and try the flow, try the playfulness, try the pursuit of wonder and joy. Do something that sounds fun to you and see what happens, and then do it again.